Congress 10. I've
been playing video games for a long time, about 10 years or so. It all started with the rise of video games about 40 years ago. We are currently celebrating the
Welcome to Congress 10 Law. My name is Erica Sanchez. Erica Tatiana Sanchez Pinto, representative for Santander. Mission: to promote the legal recognition of eSports as a sports discipline in Colombia. Author of one of the most important laws that Congress has approved. What was the first video game in history? A. Palm. B. Tennis. 4. C. Zeros and crosses tricky. D. Space. Today we are joined by none other than the President of the Colombian Federation of Electronic Sports, Alexander Ospina, President of the Colombian Federation of Electronic Sports FEDECOLD. Mission: to position Colombia as a regional leader in electronic sports. I want to tell you first what eSports is, what this great ecosystem means, and how much money it will bring to our country.
Well, this has been quite a long journey. We have been involved in this task of sports recognition for 19 years now, and this year we will celebrate it. When we started, we began as competitive players, representing Colombia alone. The only solution, the only path we had to take was a bill.
And there was fear, there was real fear of legislating in favor of eSports, gamers, streamers, casters, all these communities that are part of a great ecosystem. Colombia's Law 250 of 2025 makes eSports official as a sports discipline. This measure promotes training in technology, innovation, and video game design. It recognizes gamers as professional athletes and opens the door for Colombia to officially compete in international tournaments. It also promotes digital entrepreneurship, prohibits pay-to-win benefits, and regulates virtual currencies and bets to protect players. Video games are no longer just entertainment. They are now part of Colombian sports. Last year alone, Alex, let's tell Colombians, in the world of eSports, in this mega industry, in this great ecosystem, more than $2 billion of profit were made, which represents 3.5% of the world's GDP and 1.5% of the national GDP. Parents were concerned that their children would become addicted to video game consoles, PCs, and cell phones and would not want to study, would not want to get ahead, and could develop various diseases from a sedentary lifestyle. And that's not the case, right? That's right.
Right. Nowadays, teams or clubs have a whole staff. It's not just the players. There is a medical committee with a psychologist, a nutritionist, a physiotherapist, active breaks, ergonomics, and many other topics that help with the health of eSports players, and obviously training times. When there is a coach with the team, they are not going to say, play 12 hours or 16 hours, no, because that will make them sick. We see two major risks for eSports players.
Dr. Jorge Garcia, FEDECOLD Medical Committee. Mission: to care for and promote the overall health of Colombian eSports players. Physically, such as a sedentary lifestyle, injuries to hands and wrists, neck and back pain, and mentally, sleep disorders, anxiety, and high levels of stress. If these habits are not balanced, performance and health will all be affected. These are three fundamental pillars: ergonomics, which prevents injuries; nutrition, which is what will maintain energy and concentration; and active steps that will reduce fatigue, which will help regulate the nervous system. For casual players, I recommend balance, playing on a regular schedule, taking breaks, and staying physically active.
Esports players receive ongoing support from the psychology and psychiatry departments. Why? Because they have to manage the issue of frustrations, as they are so competitive. And these young people who accompany us here do not only compete between municipalities, cities, or departments, they compete between countries. And you know what the responsibility of competing with China, Japan, and major powers demands, where at the very least they have to force you to learn a second language. Second, esports have allowed young people to, in one way or another, look at other horizons and not resort to the consumption of psychoactive substances, but rather develop soft skills and social skills. Third and most importantly, this great ecosystem doesn't just belong to esports. It also includes video game developers, sound engineers, electrical engineers, systems engineers, hardware and software developers. It's not just the players, as you rightly say, there are also the casters, who are the narrators, graphic designers, and broadcast producers. There are many people around who are already earning money. In other words, it's an ecosystem that is already sustainable in its economy. We made sure that, just as skaters, soccer players, and basketball players have rights, the national sports system in Colombia, Law 181 of 1995, included eSports, e-athletes, as it is, as a sports discipline, and of course, our players were there. Alex, I want you to tell us in these 16 years how many tournaments the Federation has participated in, how many young people we have supported, how many international events, and where Colombia participates in the most important executive boards of major industries.
Well, we've been to different events. We started back in 2022 at our first international tournament, which was in Israel, in Eilat. We were there with 6 athletes, then we were in Bali, in Indonesia with 11 athletes, then we were in Romania, we've been in Saudi Arabia, we've been in Monaco, where we achieved 6th place in sim racing, which has been the greatest sporting achievement we've had in our country. We've been in Argentina. This year we're going to be in Brazil, in Amaba, at the Pan American Championship. We're possibly going to be in Moscow with the University Dota team and, well, possibly also at the World Championship in Egypt, which is also going to be this year, which is, let's say, our current circuit. For me, it's quite new to be able to visualize myself representing Colombia here. Juan Andres Rovalo Fernandez, Jesus, Dota 2 eSports athlete. Mission: to inspire young people in esports, reaching the elite and the top 10 worldwide.
Along with 4 other Colombians, we signed up for the Dota 2 World Cup, where we were in the closet qualifiers, which meant that we were among the 8 best teams in the entire South 2. We formed another team, Colombia, which was a tournament that was by country, where we eliminated good teams like Brazil. We competed against countries from all over the world, like Laos and Bulgaria. So, I think that was a great experience as a professional player and as a person. The following year I was at the Pan American Games in Chile, where we placed 4th. However, last year, which was 2024, we played in the Bolivarian Games and that one we reached the podium. We took 3rd place.
Look, we had the testimony of a mother who sold magazines, who didn't earn more than 2 minimum wages a month with a lot of effort and became interested in getting involved in this mega industry and is now a streamer or caster. Streamer and earn a paltry $8,000 per month, right? That was 2.5 years ago. I don't know how much he's earning right now, so get excited. This is a real opportunity for economic growth. We have many players who have set up companies, who have more than 10, 20 employees and, really, what is going to allow Colombia not only to continue growing, but also for Bogotá, the capital of our country, which has been a pioneering city, to continue strengthening and supporting these development blocks and, of course, in these digital arenas the more than 21,000 players that Colombia has. What was the first video game in history? The correct answer, Zeros and Crosses. Tricky, created in 1952 by Alexander Douglas in Cambridge. It was a digital game of 3 in a row where you played against the computer. Well, I actually started playing video games a long time ago, about 10 years ago or so. Well, 4 years ago I decided to become, let's say, a competitive player, and I decided to join the Pangea de Lille team. I know that they support us a lot in terms of visas, scholarships, and they actually support us a lot financially and give us, let's say, that vision that some players didn't have.
We are a competitive team that has been training for about a year and a half, and we have been competing in several leagues, in what is known as Fed Canal. We also compete in several video games such as Valorant, League of Legends, Fortnite, and right now we are celebrating the recently approved eSports law, which will provide us with several benefits as athletes, helping us with universities, travel, and recognition for what we are, electronic athletes. Therefore, we will have much more support from our families and organizations, who will help us grow and help our athletes become the best, so that we can start competing on a global level. League Sport has already been approved in Colombia, and it includes everything related to electronic sports.
Ricardo Mourinho, Head called Technical Delegate. Mission: promoting gaming and audio-visual production projects that foster community and sport.
It all started with the rise of video games. About 40 years ago, people would play against the machine to get the highest score. It was simply man versus machine. But over time, they adapted and I could face another person. And that's where what we could call competitive esports began. Most of them were simulators of traditional games like soccer and tennis, and the competition began. Esports combine discipline and training, where people analyze other players' games to apply that when competing. If you're interested in being part of the competitive sports world, welcome. The doors are open, the federation is ready, and we'll be waiting for you with all the support you deserve as a gabber. Trivia 2. What was the first video game in history? A. Fortnite, B. Tetris, C. Minecraft, D. Super Mario. Well, here in the Tequino versions, I always played this Tequino Fighter 2002 Magic. There are many versions, more than 100 versions of Tequino Fighter. Let's say I played with certain characters like Terry, Shermie, and Yori, who suddenly had certain combos or powers. My passion was a bit for electronics or knowledge of computer systems. Let's say you get excited playing, and then the curiosity of wanting to understand how the machine worked.
Hammer Camilo, Managing Partner at Imicon Recolas. Mission: preserve and revitalize arcade culture that connects generations.
At that time, you would go with a 100 coin and play, as some of these arcade games refer to the fact that you play for lives. There were people who played too much, and with 1 coin they could play all afternoon. Trivia 2. What was the first video game in history? The correct answer is B. Tetris. Tetris, created in 1984 by Alexei Pachiniv. It's a game of falling blocks that must be arranged to form lines without empty spaces.
Done. And to end this fabulous program, I want to tell you that esports also infected academia. Right now, we have 5 universities that offer undergraduate and graduate programs that have focused on demonstrating that this mega industry, this great ecosystem, is a great academic and student opportunity where professionals in the field will emerge to continue competing. The 10th of Congress, Street.